undocumented individuals, for example, are holding up our housing industry. One in out of every three roofers, tilers, are undocumented individuals.
The use of the word alien is so deliberate because it sets up the image from the start that says they're not like us.
The rhetoric out of DC simply does not match the reality. So, for example, if you look at the Obama administration, Obama has the record for the largest number of deportation in a single year. However, for every 500,000 individuals who were deported, 44,000 fewer jobs were held by US born individuals. The reason why I cite facts is not because I love numbers, but because I think numbers can tell a story that is far more compelling than people's biases. And so, undocumented individuals, for example, are holding up our housing industry. If you were to deport 13 million individuals, guess what? 1.5 million of those individuals are in the construction industry. One out of every three roofers, tilers, are undocumented individuals. That is not my opinion. That is a fact. As a matter of fact, if you were to deport 13 million individuals who are undocumented in the United States, I think the estimates are somewhere between 4.2 to 6.8% reduction in the GDP. That is on par with the Great Recession. These are individuals who truly are in the United States because they want to do good. They want to work hard. They want to make money. They want to pay taxes. They want to send money back home. There is no ill will whatsoever. But the way that the system is set up, they are being forced to file for asylum because asylum is the only way that they can get work authorization. And so the way that the system is designed, it makes no logical sense whatsoever, and it forces, it almost paves the path for dishonesty.
Have you ever wondered why the laws speak in terms of alien? You don't think of a human being. You think of a little green Martian man. Well, it's very easy to green Martian man other, right? They're not like you. They don't look like you. The use of the word alien is so deliberate because it sets up the image from the start that says they're not like us. And when you start with they're not like us, well, then it's easy to dehumanize. It's easy to depersonify.
They are incredibly hawkish in terms of who Trump has tapped to lead ICE. Again, we got to go back and look at the numbers. If you want to employ mass deportations, the realistic figures tell us that there are about 13.3 million or so undocumented persons in the United States. Now, if you want to actually deport every single undocumented person, you would need to hire anywhere between 220,000 and 409,000 new employees. Okay? Now, if you want to deport 1 million undocumented persons, it would take roughly $88 billion annually to actually do that. Now, 13 million. The prison system in the United States has only about 1.9 million prisoners. So imagine, do the math. You want to build structures that house 13 million individuals and then hire 400,000 new employees to actually facilitate the deportation of these undocumented persons while hurting the U.S. economy, while hurting the U.S. Housing infrastructure. And so the rhetoric is toxic, but toxicity sells. Sometimes our own people are our own worst enemies. And oftentimes A full stomach does not remember what an empty one feels like.
Every generation that has ever made it in America tries to lean back and pull the bridge up behind them.
The rhetoric is toxic, but toxicity sells. That's the problem. That's the problem that we are facing. So am I concerned about the rhetoric? Absolutely. Am I concerned about the fact that this is Trump 2.0 now that they have learned from Trump 1.0? Very concerned about that.
If you look at traditional Indian values, we value hard work, we value education, right? We value entrepreneurship. It's like if you look at the tapestry of what is Indian culture per se, you have some of these pieces, but none of these pieces align with what Mr. Trump is doing. He's a convicted felon who's been accused of sexually assaulting women, who's been committed fraud, who's a con artist, who doesn't believe in education. I mean, in what world does Indian ideology align with this? Except for us being able to say, well, we came, we made a bunch of money, right? And then we want to pull up the bridge behind us. You're seeing this in the rhetoric of, Vivek Ramaswamy, and you're seeing it in the rhetoric of Nikki Haley, and you're seeing this, right? Which is that every generation that has ever made it in America tries to lean back and pull the bridge up behind them. That's true across the board. In every community, you'll see it. And you're seeing it now, right? You're seeing it play out in the Indian community. Why? Because for the first time, we have a seat at the table. And so we now have to say, well, okay, if you have a seat at the table, then how do we get you away from the table? And that's what you're seeing play out in some of this rhetoric.
I have had clients say to me certain really derogatory things about other immigrants. For example, if you're an Indian national, you don't consider a Haitian immigrant to be on the same level as you because they're different. Well, and then of course, if you are a Trump supporter, you're looking at the Indian national and the Haitian immigrant as being equal, in the same boat. I think the issue at hand is really, really nuanced, and there's a lot of hypocrisy even in the communities that I represent.